Hello, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is the day that we get to talk to Robin, Shimizu, and friends about our happy, healthy habits. Robin's in the studio today. But before we get started, Robin, I want to give a shout out to my friend and partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. She's on the road today. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we are the Biz Chicks. So, what's happening today, Miss Lady?
Well, I was going to talk about multitasking again just because I thought, well, it's just timely for me on a personal level.
Mhm.
However, I thought maybe we should continue our conversation from last week where we talked about being at the conference and
Uh-huh.
getting out into the public with our
Mm.
vaccinations, and just feeling good about getting out there and just starting to network and work again because we feel like we haven't been really out there working like we had
Mhm.
been before COVID. So let's
Yeah.
talk about your conference a little bit, and then the fact that you went out and made your dress. I want to talk about your dress too that you've got
Oh,
on. Yeah.
well, let's start with the conference. It was the first time I had vended in almost 18 months. Um, so it took more preparation than usual, and I vended clothing, and I also had a table for the Air and Surface Pro, which is the air filter that we've been promoting. Uh, so I had two tables, but Robin came and helped me because it was a 3-day conference. But the other thing that happened was I was able to interact with my customers. And that's the part of the business that I love, watching their face change when they are able to put on something beautiful and feel more confident. You can tell when someone's confident, their face lights up, they begin to smile, they walk different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the part of the business that gives me joy. So I had missed that, and it really made a difference in how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It energized me. And then I went after the conference, I made this dress that I'm wearing. I hadn't sewn anything for myself in such a long time or tried something new because my focus is cover ups. But I did manage to make this dress. What were you going to say?
Now, did you happen to just have that material on hand?
No, I had to go to the fabric store because I had some people order things in advance. So I had to go find the fabric for that to fulfill some orders. And then I saw this fabric and I love it. It's a tribal print. And I'll stand
It
up
is
so you can
so
see.
cute. Show everybody what it looks like because
Uh,
people need to know that Terry took a dress from another lady's bought a dress
mhm.
and modified that pattern to make this dress, making the collar different. It's
Yeah.
just
I
adorable with pockets.
yeah. So I modified the pattern, and because I love the general, what would you call it, construction of the dress.
Mhm.
And from there, I was able to do something unique, and it has pockets. I'm a pocket girl. So, yes, it's got pockets in it. And
You
I
could
keep,
you could make that dress and sell it. It is absolutely adorable.
well,
Anybody could wear it.
yep, but I'm not in the dressmaking business, people. I'm in the cover up business.
Oh,
Stay
shoot.
focused, stay in your lane, because that's what's going to make you smile. Mhm.
That is awesome, Terry. So you got the energy from the conference and then went home and made yourself some clothes. That's
Mhm.
amazing to have that energy follow you like that.
Isn't that it's the most bizarre thing because you would think you would be tired after a 3-day conference, but instead I was actually energized by it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Very good. And the other thing I wanted to mention to people if they're vending out there is the reason why we did so well with the Air and Surface Pro was Terry got, some sales from that. is because she had her clothing there as like the attraction, and then people came to look at her clothing, and then we were able to talk to them more about the
Keep
products. That's another tip for people out there vending, to have something at your table that attracts some attention and get.
draws people to your table.
Mhm.
The other thing is that I felt really confident because we were actually wearing our individual, right? Our
Mhm.
individual things around our neck to protect our airspace. Because with things going the way they are, you don't know who is and who is not uh, vaccinated, compliant, whatever. Uh, and we don't know what's going on. So we had these on, remember? And so we didn't have to, you know, have conversations with people about that.
Well, and then we were indoors, and so
Hmm.
that made it so much better for us that we felt safe indoors
Hmm.
in the church and listening to the services and things like that. We were
Yes.
inside.
And we were distanced inside of the sanctuary, so that helped too.
Yeah.
So all
Anyway,
of that contributed to what we consider a healthy habit, which is get out, do something, interact with people, and stay safe.
right. So
Oh,
today we have Linus Woods Mullins with us. Yay! We haven't had Linus in for a while. I don't know what she's going to talk to us about. We didn't get a chance to chat about what her topic will be, but she's a coach for women over the age of 40, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical coach. And she helps us with our nutrition and just about anything you want to do, because she looks at your as a client, your whole body, your whole being, your mental health, your
you
everything.
got a holistic approach. Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, and she's awesome. She's actually my coach for a physical and nutritional program that I'm going to be taking in September. When my life kind of settles down, I'm going to be taking a program from her. But anyway, let's bring Linus in, and she can
Okay.
tell us about what she's going to do. Talk to us about today.
Okay, Linus, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Okay, there you go. You're
Yes.
unmuted, and I'm going to put you
Okay.
here.
Hey, everybody. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you well. Thank you.
Okay.
Go,
Thank you.
go right
That's right, Robin. I forgot to tell you what I was going to talk about. I wanted to talk about empowerment for women
ahead.
in particular, because I think that sometimes we get stuck. And one of the reasons why we get stuck is that we're just not feeling empowered to act, to do
Ah,
something different. We get caught up in staying in our lane. So I wanted to give you some tips on how you can get empowered. And actually, even before you get empowered, you want to get inspired. You want to be able to have that thing in your life that gives you that aha moment that makes you want to act on something. And when it comes to making a healthy lifestyle change or any kind of change, having ways to get you empowered can go a long way, because in the course of your journey, you're going to have, some times where you're going to feel demotivated, where you're not going to be inspired, where you're not going to be empowered. So I thought today I would do some tips on 6 ways that you can get empowered. I also wanted to let everyone know that I am actually running a challenge in my group right now, and that is the Vibe Women 40 Plus group. Right now, we are doing a challenge called Enhancing Our Vibe by increasing our motivation and increasing our inspiration and our empowerment. And the reason why I decided to do that is that I took a survey about a month or so, maybe 2 months ago, and I asked everyone what was it they wanted me to talk about. And I gave them some choices. They had lots of choices. Of course, among them are the menopause, the hormones, the weight gain, the chronic disease, all that. And then I had motivation and inspiration on there. And by far, 2 to 1, that is what everybody wanted to hear about. So I created a challenge to try to put it on everyone's mind on a daily basis of things that they can do to get inspired and things that they can do to get empowered. Let's look at it this way. Inspiration is that impetus that gives you that aha moment that you want to do something, that you have an idea, that, some kind of divine moment that, oh, I would really like to do that. Well, the empowerment basically is giving yourself that permission to actually act
mm-mm.
on that inspiration. So today we're going to talk about the empowerment. And I've got all kinds of tips for this, but I'm just going to go over 6. Um, One of the things that is really important with empowerment is first maybe starting out, and I'm not doing this in any order, but you always want to operate in gratitude, being grateful for
Mm.
what you already have, being grateful for the things that are going on in your life that are positive. And, sometimes it's the small things, which are the building blocks to those things that are greater. So when you're talking about exercising gratitude, we're not necessarily talking about all those big things. It's the small things, and I know you talked about that here in this on this show, and I think I've talked about it before too. But gratitude is huge, because when you find yourself focusing on the things that you are grateful for, you find yourself finding more and more things to be grateful for, and it puts you in a different frame of mind, because our mindset is hugely important when it comes to feeling empowered. It's hard to feel empowered if you are full of negative talk, negative
Mm.
thinking. And so one way to kind of get your mind out of the negative thinking is to begin to start thinking about those things that you are grateful for. And I advise that people have a gratitude journal. That makes a big difference if you start writing down every day 3 things that you're grateful for. I know before I get started in the morning, I write on my journal, my business journal, the 3 things that I'm grateful for. And as I'm working, referring to my business journal of things to do, my eyes fall on that. So that if I'm having a particularly bad day, it's like, oh, that's right, I should be grateful because these are the reasons why. So that's important. Another thing is to, have a daily self-care plan. It's hard to feel empowered if you're not taking care of you and doing the things for yourself that make you feel good about yourself. So whatever that is, and I'm talking about taking a step further than getting your hair done and your nails done, but perhaps peeling back the layers and doing something for self-care, maybe for your spirit or for your mind. Maybe you go for a long walk, or perhaps you do some
Mm.
meditation. Or maybe you spend some valued time with a friend, or fix your favorite cup of tea, something that makes you feel special to you. And you should do it on a daily basis. I think that a lot of times when people think of self-care, they think of things that address the outer part. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about things that address the inner part, things that can uplift your spirit. When you're feeling uplifted in your spirit, it's easier to feel more empowered about making a lifestyle change, or being more empowered about a task or a project or something that you can do, because you're feeling better about yourself. And it's easier for you to have that can-do attitude. When we're not taking care of ourselves, when we're not, honoring our spirits, taking care of our mind, when we're not doing those things, we can sometimes begin to lose a sense of empowerment because we're not really feeling good in our skin. Another thing that you want to take a look at when it comes to being empowered is get clear on what you really want. Get clear
Yeah.
on that. Whatever that is, whether it's I want to buy a box of crayons or I want to buy a new car. Doesn't matter what it is, just as long as you're clear on that. Some people write it on a piece of paper, write it in their journal, put it on their wall, what they want to get clear on, what their intentions are. But it's good to get clear, because it's hard to to get empowered to do something if you don't know what it is that you really want to do. And and here's another one that I think is really important when it comes to empowerment. Many times we don't feel empowered to do something new or different because we haven't set boundaries, because we're too busy doing things for other people, that by the time we get to us, we just don't have anything left. So we need to learn that no is a complete sentence. That it's okay to say no, and you don't have to explain why you're saying no.
Exactly.
Okay. I think a lot of times, especially as moms, and and if you're a woman that has people in your life, you have a tendency when you say no to explain why you're saying no. But the reality is you really don't have to do it. And I want to empower you to be able to set those boundaries and say no, just no. And that's that. Rather than go into this whole long, drawn out explanation, because many times when we start explaining it, next thing you know, we're talking ourselves out of it, and we end up doing something that we really don't want to do. But it's empowering to be able to say no. It's empowering to be able to set the boundaries and do what serves you instead of what's serving someone else. And this is not selfish. This is not being mean. This is basically putting the oxygen on you first. You know, they talk about the plane, you know, when something's going on with the plane, the oxygen mask come down. And let's say you have a family member next to you, they always say, you know, to put the oxygen first on yourself and then on that other person. Because if you're responsible for taking care of that person, you have to make sure that you're okay first so that you can go
Exactly.
to everyone else. And sometimes, you know, if we don't say that no, if we don't set those boundaries, we're not taking care of ourselves first, and everything begins to slide from there, as well as our empowerment, okay, to pull ourselves out of that. One other thing you might want to try when it comes to increasing your empowerment is to listen to something inspiring, something that gives you the ability to say, yes, I can do that, or yes, I want to do that, or yes, that resonates with me. TEDx Talks or something you might want to take a look at. There's all kinds of motivational interviews on YouTube, but TEDx Talks can sometimes be your go-to. And a lot of people like other motivational speakers. Some people like Tony Robbins, some people like Joel Osteen, Joyce Myers, Wayne Dyer. What's the other lady I was listening to the other day? It's going to come to me later on. Gabrielle.
Oh,
Can't think of her name. She wrote The Universe Has Your Back. There's all kinds of things out there that you can listen to, all kinds of podcasts that you can listen to that are empowering and uplifting. And I know this is more than six, but definitely a way that keeps you moving forward. And I think every woman needs to have that. And sometimes if you don't have that at all, you can get that from the value of having a coach. Because really, I don't think a lot of people understand what a coach does. A coach is not a therapist, and a coach does not have all the answers. A good coach is asking you a lot of questions, because I truly do believe that the answers that you're searching for lie within you, because you wouldn't be asking them if you didn't already have some kind of enough information within you to ask the question, or, you know, to even have that as a concern or an issue. But sometimes you need a little bit of probing, a little bit of prodding, a little bit of encouragement to pull out of you what's actually there. And many times, you know, when you surround yourself with those kinds of people who encourage you, who kind of push you on, who hold you accountable, that makes a very huge difference in terms of your ability to be empowered. So those are my tips around being empowered. I hope that's been helpful. I know just the other day I had an experience that really empowered me. I was talking with a woman who had contacted me saying that she wanted to do a discovery call, wanted to find out about my services. So, I'm doing my thing, talking to her about that. And then I asked her, how did you find me? And she said, well, I found you on Facebook. I said, oh, okay, good. I said, you on the pages or the groups? And she said, I belong to one of your groups. I said, cool, great. She said, I also follow you on Clubhouse, and I belong to your group on Clubhouse. And I said, oh, great. She said, I also follow you on Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Instagram. I said, wow. She says, yeah, I've been following you for 10 years. And that just blew me away. 10 years? She said, yes. She said about 10 years ago, a friend of my mom's that we go to church with told her about you. And both my mom and I and the friend have been following you for 10 years. And that was just so empowering that she told me that, because sometimes when you work online, you're wondering, is anybody out there listening? Anybody,
exactly.
Is anybody there? But the other thing that she told me just blew me away. She said, I started at 40, got to know you, and now I'm 50, and I need your services. I need your help because I'm going through menopause right now. And that just really made me feel empowered, made me feel so, it was just like, wow. And I knew that she was being genuine, because when she made the first appointment with me, I had to cancel it because I don't think I had a chance to tell you guys, my husband had a heart attack last week. So I had to, yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. Yeah. So I had to reschedule my interview or my meeting with her. So I thought, okay, and I forgot to get back to her. So she got back to me and she said, hey, I know, how's your husband? And he's fine, by the way. He's at home and back to normal, basically. He knows what he has to do. So prayers going up for that.
Yes.
Anyway, she wanted to check back with me to see how my husband was doing. And I said, oh, he's doing much better. She said, yeah, I wanted to reschedule. So I thought, oh, okay, great. Because I felt so bad. I really couldn't be, I rescheduled as many as I could. But right before the heart attack happened, I lost my business journal with all my notes in it. And she was in notes. So I didn't even, know, I didn't know who I was going to miss. People would call me and say, hey, I'm on Zoom. Where are you? I said, oh, in the hospital with my husband,
Yes.
So anyway, I knew she really wanted to meet with me, but I didn't know why. That information, what she shared with me, was so empowering. It gave me more confidence. It gave me more hope. And it made me realize that many times the seeds that you plant, you never know how they're going to come up. And you never know who's looking and who's listening. But all of that knowledge of knowing that there are people out there who are watching and listening to you, who you are a role model for, or who you are empowering. And, having the ability to hear something like that from someone is so empowering. And that's why I said it really helps to surround yourself with people that uplift you, that speak into you, that appreciate you. And if you don't have that, then you definitely want to get a coach, because that's part of what we do. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it in terms of empowerment.
We are so grateful for your time. We know that you are a busy woman. I had no idea about these recent circumstances going on, because we've been praying for you constantly, because I
Right.
know that your daughters were in transition. I knew you had
Yes.
transitions with your brother-in-law and now your
Yes.
husband. So you know what? It is
It's
so
been a perfect
encouraging
storm
to
this
us.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a perfect storm.
it's encouraging to us to see that our prayers are being answered and you're still standing.
Yes, and yeah, absolutely. My daughter was going through issues in Texas, and she's all the way in Texas. And I had issues about her relocating anyway. So that happened. And yes, my brother-in-law, he had a lung transplant, and 2 people in his household got COVID. That happens. He cannot get sick at all. And then my husband has a heart attack. So it just all happened at once. And it's interesting because sometimes what happens is, it's not that things are happening to you personally, but things are happening around you. And sometimes that's almost worse, because you feel like you have no control over what's going on with other people. Of course, you can pray and all of that, but that has a tendency to feel like, like your power's been taken away, or that you are feeling less empowered because it's things that's happening to someone else. And that's when you have to begin to go down these lists of things. And, sometimes one of the best ways to get empowered is to just stop and listen to that inner voice.
Oh, get somewhere and sit down. We have a couple of sayings at Biz Chicks. Get somewhere and sit down. No is a complete sentence, and everything is not for you to fix. Okay.
That's right. My girlfriend would say, take several seats back and sit your butt
Okay.
down. And I had a situation the other day with my daughter in Texas, and it's crazy the things that happened to her. Once again, things were happening to her. It wasn't her; it was the people around her that had lost their minds. And so all these things were happening, and I told her something that I realized that I needed to tell myself. I said, you know what? At this point, you need to go for the low-hanging fruit. What's the one thing that you can do that can at least take a little bit of the pressure off? And I said the same thing to myself at the same time, because while she's sharing this information, I'm just like, oh. And I've identified the one thing. She identified her one thing. We did it, and we both agreed that it was like a pin to a balloon, like a pinprick, and it took all the energy, all the negative energy out of everything else. And it's not that all of those things were taken care of, but it took the pressure out, and it changed the trajectory of our thoughts and gave us a sense of hope and empowerment. And sometimes you have to take things 1%. I believe in the 1% rule. Do you know what the 1% rule is? The 1% rule is,
tell us about that.
let's say you have a huge project to tackle, right? And you don't know where to start. Well, of course, you want to try to start at the beginning. If you can do 1% a day, and then the next day you do 2%, and the next day you do 3%, 1% increments each day. Before you know it, that project is done. Even if it's time driven, it's amazing that project gets done because you're doing it in bite-sized increments, and it takes the pressure off, because when you're doing things towards an ultimate goal, it takes away that procrastination and that anxiety that you feel that, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But if you're in the process of doing, your brain records that and encodes it in such a way that it's like, okay, I'm in the process, I'm doing something. Instead of just sitting there procrastinating about what you have to do, it just makes it worse. It becomes a vicious cycle, and you get lost in the throes of anxiety. And when you're in anxiety, that is not empowering. But it is empowering to be taking action, no matter how small it is. So with that, I'll stop.
So we're talking about eating that elephant one bite at a time.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Linus, you know what? All we can say is that you really are phenomenal and an inspiration. I don't know whether you realize it or not, or an inspiration for us to keep going, even in the midst of a storm. And we want to encourage you because you speak into the lives of so many people. I'm so glad you got that phone call from the woman to let her know how long we have been following you and being helped by the information that you share with us. Guys, I want to encourage everyone to follow Linus over there on Facebook. She's also on Instagram, Twitter. And if you just put in Linus Woods Mullins, you'll get a whole list of things over there on Google, and you can figure out what suits you best. In the meantime, we just want to say, wow, we are so happy that you are here for us because we're here for you.
Thank
Okay?
you. I appreciate that. I do. And I do want to remind everybody, if they didn't already know, Clubhouse is open to everybody.
Yes. Now, even if
So,
you're on Android, you can come on over and meet Linus over there on Clubhouse. What is the name of your Clubhouse, Linus?
it is Vibe Living Woman 40 Plus.
Okay.
And I run a room Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 10:45 a.m. And today I'm going to have about 8 or 9 women. We're going to all be celebrating the opening of Clubhouse to everyone and talking about this very topic. You're going to get a chance to hear their ideas of what they do to stay empowered. And these are some awesome women that I've gotten to know. They've become my good friends on Clubhouse, and we're gathering together to celebrate all those other folks. We don't have to do invites anymore. You can just come on, and just a wonderful, wonderful community of people are on Clubhouse. And a lot of them are women, and a lot of them are our age in the 40 plus club.
Linus, will you give me those dates again? They're Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, did you
say? Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays at 10:45 a.m. I'm always running a room.
Okay.
And
I'm going to join. I want to hear what's going on.
Yeah, you should. I think, what are we doing? Well, this coming this coming Monday is Vibe Emotions. So we're always talking about something having to do with emotions. On Tuesdays, we're going to be talking about courage and confidence, and that's next week. And the week after that, and then that next Thursday, I don't know what we're talking about. Haven't decided yet. I have somebody's name written down here, so I have to figure out what is she talking about. But anyway, and one more thing. I'm a part of a group called Lady Boss. And Lady Boss is a group of women who are business owners, business managers, CEOs, whatever. And every other Saturday, we have something called the Lady Boss Brunch on Clubhouse. And we have what we call a menu, and we talk about different things to help women in business. And it's called Lady Boss International. And I'm one of the VIP co-mods, and we're going to be on this Saturday at 8 a.m. So I want to invite everybody to join us. There's some awesome women from all over the world who are there to support women. It's a movement that my friend Rose created. She's in Chicago. She created it almost a year ago, and she brought it to Clubhouse, and it is growing in leaps and bounds. So if you get to Clubhouse, just type in Lady Boss, and you'll find Lady Boss International. Yes, and join us. Join us. Thank you.
Fantastic. And what time is that on Saturday?
8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, very good. Wow, Linus, I'm just so excited for you and that all that you're bringing to the table. Congratulations.
Thank you, Terry. I see you there early in the morning. I'm like, yes.
I am really enjoying that Clubhouse. Yes, I
Yeah,
really am.
it's
And I
it's
thank
a
you
great
so much
blessing.
for introducing me to that group.
Yes,
So
it's
with
wonderful.
that, we want to thank you. And I'm going to
Thank you.
ask Robin, who's coming up next week. Do you know?
Yes, Lakeisha. Lakeisha
Lakeisha. Okay, we're
absolutely
gonna be
just next
talking
week. So
fashion and and
skincare.
self-care.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, yeah.
Yes, but Linus, in the meantime, I know you probably have to run, so we're not going to keep you, but I want to thank you again,
Thank
and I
you.
want to encourage everyone to follow Linus. Linus, do you have any in-person events coming up?
Not yet, but I guess I need to come up with one, huh? Actually, I really am thinking about doing a women's spa day in my home in
Nice.
Sacramento sometime in late August. I've been praying about it. My husband's been encouraging me to do it because this week we had about 15 little ones from the ages of 5 to 10 in our backyard for a youth camp.
Oh, how nice.
So, yeah,
Wow. Well,
so
you
by
know
Easter,
what, Linus?
so I'm
If you
thrilled about
decide to
that.
do that spa in your home, we will loan you an Air and Surface Pro so that you can sanitize
Oh,
your
you know what? I
air
never got a chance to. Yes.
and
Okay.
surfaces.
Thank you. I will follow up.
Mhm.
Is that the necklace? Right? Do you have one right now,
Yes,
Robin?
this is the individual one right here that goes
Okay.
around your neck. But I'm talking about sanitizing your home. Oh, I think I'm sitting in front of mine. You can see it in
Yes.
back of me. So that you
Yes.
can sanitize the area and also sort of keep your air safe because you don't know who's going to be coming in and out of your home.
Right. Exactly. You
Okay, so
don't.
talk to us about that. We'd
I
love to help
will.
you
I'll
with
talk
that.
to you guys. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
All right, guys. I know you got to go. We love you, and we'll see you soon again on the radio.
Thank you, Lena, so much for taking time with us today.
Thank
It
you.
was very inspiring for me to listen, and I
It
love,
was.
love, loved your story about the woman, and
Wasn't that something? And
that is
it's
just
amazing. I
awesome.
needed to hear that. I needed to hear
It
that.
was
I was
perfect
just like
timing, right?
boo-hooing,
You just never
boo-hooing
know.
on Zoom. That's what I was doing.
Good for
You just
you.
never know. So, with that, we want to encourage you to let you know we're always rooting for you, whether you hear it or not.
Mhm.
You just need to know you can't give up because there's too many people holding you up. Okay.
Thank you, Terry.
Okay. We
Thank
love
you.
you.
I love you guys.
See you soon. Bye bye. Okay. With that, we just want to remind everybody to go to the front of your own line. We'll see you tomorrow for Tech Talk Weekly with the Tech Divas. And Robin, I just love your guests. You always have such great guests.
I am very blessed.
And they're so inspirational. Oh my goodness, so inspirational. Well, with that, I think we're done here. We'll be. Do you have anything you want to add? I don't want to close in case you have something you
No,
want to add.
no, I don't. I just want to thank you, Terry. This has been a really good show today, and I thank you for the opportunity. And I love your new dress. I think it's
I am
amazing.
really excited about this dress. Oh my gosh, it has just really lifted my spirits and I feel energized. So, with that, guys, we want you to remember that the healthy habit is to get out and do something that makes you smile. Okay, with
Yeah.
that, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.